George, where are you? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our 40th annual 3-year-old Holstein Fortuity. Coming into our view at this time are our ringmen for the evening, Mr. John Hull and David Hill. They are being driven by Mr. Wesley Brown with a 1969 Plymouth Roadrunner. Our ringmen, David Hill and John Hull. We hope you all enjoy our show here this evening. As I mentioned, it's a 40th annual 3-year-old Holstein Fortuity, hosted here at the Maryland State Fair for most of those years. Our next car, we will have some people that you will recognize. The chairman the president of the Maryland State Fair, Miss Donna Myers, and the president of the Maryland Holstein Association, Mr. Jeff Sutton. They are be driven by a 1964 Corvette, owned and driven by Greg Dell of Westminster, Maryland. Donna Myers and Jeff Sutton. Our next guest is the chairman of the board of the Maryland State Fair and Agriculture Society, Inc., Mr. Gary Brewster, accompanied by the assistant general manager, David Gordon. And we're very happy to lead the applause. To my left is our general manager, Mr. Andrew Cashman. If you're wondering why he's up here, it's to keep an eye on me and keep me straight. We're very fortunate to have two of our Dairy Princess is with us from the Upper Chesapeake area, Katie Jones, and our South Central Dairy Princess, Layla Shepard. Who was that? Was that Morgan that just got out of the car? Is that the Dairy Princess? She just here?
Yeah, that was the Maryland Dairy Princess. Yeah, and then you have these two?
In our car now, I mentioned the Upper Chesapeake Dairy Princess Katie Jones and South Central Dairy Princess Layla Shepard. And in the previous car was our Maryland Dairy Princess, Morgan Osborne Watley. Three lovely young ladies who have been assisting us here at the fair this week, and I'm sure they will be promoting our dairy products throughout the coming year. Our Dairy Princess, Miss Morgan Osborne Watley, and our Upper Chesapeake Dairy Princess, Katie Jones, South Central Dairy Princess, Layla Shepard. The next young man will be formally introduced a little bit later in the program, but won't you please welcome our official judge from New York via Kentucky, Mr. Joe Nash. Next is our soloist for the evening, Miss Sierra Howe. Sierra is a 16-year-old junior at Linganore High School, where she serves as vice president of the FFA chapter, and we're proud to have her here to give her rendition of the national anthem. Miss Sierra Howe. Ladies and gentlemen, our flag bearers for the evening, carrying the American flag, is Miss Kelsey Zepp. Kelsey is a junior member of the Maryland Holstein Association and our overall record book winner. Kelsey also was in the top of the individuals selected as a semifinalist for the 2023 Distinguished Junior Member Award for the National Junior Holstein Association. Miss Emily Fritz, carrying the Maryland flag, is also a member of the Maryland Junior Association and placed first in the intermediate record book division. And Emily's book has also been selected to go to the national contest. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, I would ask that you rise for the singing of our national anthem by Miss Sierra Howe. Please rise.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we
skies gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you very much, Sierra. Please retire the colors. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to bring in the stars of the show for our 40th annual 3-year-old Holstein Fortuity. As you all may be aware of, certainly all of our exhibitors and friends of exhibitors know that these animals have been nominated several times, or actually nominated, and then their nominations kept up to date several times during the years until they reached their 3-year-old status, of which they are here this evening. The first entry into the ring with a fat-corrected energy milk record of 30,159 pounds is Derwin Jordy Mara. She is sired by Cycle Maguchi Jordy out of the cow Derwin Defiant Maddie. She is a junior exhibitor, Miss Michaela Durr from New Windsor, Maryland, our first contestant, entry 979, Derwin Jordy Mara. She is our first contestant this evening, as well as our only junior entry at this time. Our second entry is Peace and Plenty Sidekick Bledsoe with a energy corrected milk record of 28,870 pounds. Bledsoe is sired by Walnut Lawn Sidekick, and her dam is Peace and Plenty Byway Blessing. She is owned and exhibited, presented by Peace and Plenty Farms of Union Bridge, Maryland. Peace and Plenty Sidekick Bledsoe, owned and exhibited by Peace and Plenty Farms of Union Bridge, Maryland. Our third entry, as she makes her way to the spotlight, has a energy-corrected milk record of 27,080 pounds. She is TTM Jordy Buick. Her sire is Cycle Maguchi Jordy. Her dam is Savage Lead TM Blessed. She is owned and exhibited by Steve Arbaugh of Union Bridge, Maryland. TTM Jordy Buick. Mrs. Alicia is Awesome will be our next entry. She is sired by Lucky Awesome out of Mrs. Ellie Lotus Alicia, owned and exhibited by Natalie Yaus of Oakland View Farms in Ridgely, Maryland. Mrs. Alicia is a Weesum. As you spectators may have guessed, these animals are representative of their owners and exhibitors and throughout the various counties in the state of Maryland. Our next entry is Peace and Plenty SMN Juby 27. She's sired by Walnut Lawn Solomon out of the cow Peace and Plenty ATWD Jubilant. She is owned and exhibited by Peace and Plenty Farms of Union Bridge, Maryland. Peace and Plenty SMN Juby 27. Some of you may recognize the Juby numbers as previous contestants. And our next animal will also be Peace and Plenty Ava Juby 24. She is sired, however, by Dimethahome Mr. Avalanche out of the same cow, of course, Peace and Plenty Atwood Jubilant, also owned and exhibited by Peace and Plenty Farms of Union Bridge, Maryland. Peace and Plenty Ava Juby 24.
Just wait till they get caught up. That's Gus's on that one you just announced, okay?
Juby 24 is the next cow in the spotlight, and as previously mentioned, owned and exhibited by Peace and Plenty Farm of Union Bridge, Maryland. Our next Miss Fortuity entry is Oakland View Warrior. She is sired by Mr. Blondin Warrior out of Oakland View OV 6402, owned and exhibited by Natalie Yaus of Oakland View Farms in Ridgely, Maryland. Oakland View Warrior 8157. As some of you may notice, the next two entries here will be of the red and white Holstein breed. The white 3-year-old Sandhaven Ellis Island, sired by Cycle Maguchi Jordy, out of the cow BGP Ole Stanton Island, owned and exhibited by Joshua Sanders of Littlestown, Pennsylvania. Sandhaven Ellis Island. Our ninth and final entry for Miss Fortuity 2023 is Skip Hancock Lexington. She is sired by Seamers Doc Hancock. Her dam is Triple Hill Attic Adorable, owned and presented by Mr. Josh Skipton of Jefferson, Maryland. Our final entry, Skip Hancock Lexington. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the 9 contestants for Miss Fortuity 2023, the 40th annual 3-year-old fraternity sponsored by the Maryland Holstein Association. We'd like to thank all of the sponsors and supporters of our fraternity. They include Alta Genetics, Maryland Virginia Milk Producers, Maryland Mobile Veterinary Clinic, Mid-Maryland Veterinarians, Taylorsville Vet Clinic, and Savage Lee Farm. At this time, here's my light. In the light here. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I'd like to introduce to you our official judge for this evening, Mr. Joe Nash. Joe is formerly from Kentucky, where he grew up, working for Ryder Jersey Farm. However, he now lives in Albion, New York, with his wife Amanda and son Brody. They have enjoyed developing many very successful Supreme Junior Champion heifers at particularly the Royal Winter Fair several years ago. Mr. Nash was a professional fitter working with show herds and herds all over North America. Oakfield Corners, just to mention one, where Oakfield Corners were the premier breeders of both the heifer shows and the black and white shows at World Dairy Expo. Mr. Nash has officiated at the All-American Jersey Jug, the All-American Open Jersey Show, Red and White Holstein Show at the New York Spring Dairy Carousel, among many other local, state, and national shows. We're very pleased to have Mr. Joe Nash select Miss Fortuity 2023. Now there will be some juniors passing out railboard judging cards around the ringside as our first inspection by Mr. Nash is being deliberated. For those of you who may be unfamiliar with railbird judging, our fraternity, as you can see, consists of 9 animals. Judge Nash will select 5 semi-finalists, and they will all be placed at the east end of the arena while he places the remaining 4 animals. You may judge those 5 animals with your own placing as how you think they will eventually be placed by Mr. Nash, 1 through 5. A cash award, depending upon the number of entries for the railbird contest, will be drawn for the winner. At this time, I'd like to call on Mr. Matt Huff to present the Marlon Huff Scholarship. Matt?
Thank you, Dave. Once again, our family would like to thank the Maryland State Fair for giving out this award in my father's name for the last 18 years. This year's recipient of the 2023 Marlin Huff Scholarship is Bryce Zepp. Bryce is a 19-year-old son of Kelly and Gabe Zepp and resides in New Windsor, Maryland. Bryce has been a 4-H member for 10 years and exhibited beef and dairy cattle at the county, state, and national shows. He has also exhibited swine, sheep, and market goats at both county and state levels. And he has placed first in the judging contest at Maryland State Fair 5 times in those 10 years, and placed second in the PA All-American Judging Contest. He placed 8th in the National FFA Dairy Judging Contest this past November. Bryce was the 2018 overall fitting and showing championship at the Maryland State Fair and was the first placed individual at the intermediate showmanship at the 2019 PA All-American Dairy Show. Bryce is a 2022 graduate of Francis Scott Key, where he lettered in football, basketball, and lacrosse. He is now a sophomore at Stevenson University, where he is majoring in business and is a member of the football team. His future plans are to stay involved with the farm and breeding cattle. Congratulations, Bryce.
Thank you very much. You missed it. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope all of you spectators enjoy the Fortuity, the 40th annual Fortuity here this evening, where we have 9 lovely 3-year-old cows competing for Miss Fortuity 2023. Many of these same animals have went through this show ring as calves and yearlings prior to their working close of producing nature's most perfect health milk. As previously mentioned, these animals were nominated as calves very early when they were 4 to 5 months old, and at various stages through their lifetime have been renominated as they grow older. And this is the culmination of their efforts, the breeders and herds people's efforts, as you see the finished product here as a 3-year-old. Of course, they will go on to produce many more years of productive life. And as I mentioned with one of the animals, with the numbers behind, is a typical example of what a high-producing dairy cow, and more particularly a Holstein, can do during their lifetime. These cows probably averaged in their last lactation somewhere in excess of 26,000 pounds of energy-corrected milk. Translate that into 8-ounce glasses, and you can see how productive they are. They are in their Sunday best clothes here for your viewing, from which Miss Fortuity 2023 will be eventually crowned. Once again, we'd like to thank our Fortuity sponsors and supporters, Alta Genetics, Maryland, Virginia Milk Producers, Mid-Maryland Mobile Veterinary Clinic, Mid-Maryland Veterinarians, Taylorsville Vet Clinic, and Savage Lee Farm. Miss Donna Reese and all the committee of the Maryland Holstein Association's effort to put on this show and have the wonderful type animals that you see here. For those of you who have not gotten your Railbird judging cards and would like to participate, I'm sure the junior members still have some available and will be circulating. And a sample of what these cows produce in the way of wholesome milk is available for free, along with some cookies on both sides, the far side, far end of the arena here. So make yourselves available of free milk and cookies while you enjoy the show. This time, ladies and gentlemen, I have for your viewing, ask our Maryland Dairy Princess, Miss Morgan Osborne Watley, and her court, Katie Jones and Layla Shepard, to come to the microphone for a milk toast. Ladies.
To the dairy farmers for taking such good care of their cows and calves every day, 365 days a year, and for always persevering no matter what the circumstances. To the dairy cow for producing nature's most perfect beverage, milk, the natural beverage that contains 13 essential nutrients that our body needs every day. To all who are involved in the agriculture industry for being good stewards of this great land by adopting good practices and for feeding our community and world.
To the future dairy leaders who are taking the time to further their education to be the next generation of the dairy industry, thank you for having a listening ear and the eagerness to include yourself in agriculture. Here's to the families who put the gallon of milk on their grocery list each week. Here's to the person who puts an extra slice of cheese on their cheeseburger. We are so proud to be advocates for such an amazing industry filled with so many hard-working men and women. Please join us in toasting the agriculture industry, the dairy farmer, the dairy cow, the consumer, and our future dairy leaders. Cheers. And tomorrow night at 7 p.m., please join us for the 61st Annual Dairy Princess Competition right here in the Cow Palace.
Thank you very much, ladies. Congratulations, and we wish you the best as you have served so ably during your reign as dairy princesses here in the state of Maryland and throughout the East Coast. As our judge, Mr. Joe Nash, has lined the 9 contestants side by side, he will make his evaluations from both the head view of the animals, the side views which he has already looked at as they walked around the ring, and of course from the rear to look at the overall condition as well as the udders which hold that milk. And as he reviews those 9 side by side, he will ask 4 of them to step forward, and the remaining 5 will be the semifinalists, where he will make some further evaluations, finally culminating with Miss Fortuity 2023. You railbirds want to be finishing up your placing cards. Just a few minutes, we will collect the railbird cards. Okay, railbirds, I've given you a couple minutes warning. Finish up your railbird judging, placing the 5 semifinalists that are facing toward the microphone here. Don't forget the milk and cookies on the side.
While they're finishing up the railbird contest down there, they wanted me to give some brief reasons on our 6th through 9th placing down here at the end. Not to take anything away from these 4 cows. It's a really outstanding group out here today. If you look down at these, you think these cows would they'd be at the top of most other fraternities or state or their class at different state fairs, but our 6th place cow, cow you admire the width on, the cow that has tremendous dairy character. Just needs a little bit more quality to her udder and a little more flex to her hock to get up in the same group as the 5 down there at the end. And then she has the advantage over the 7th place cow, just being a little harder in her loin today, just having a little more strength, a little more width in her chest. Love the texture of the udder on her 7th place cow. She has that advantage, having just a little more quality today to go over the 8th place cow. The 8th place cow is showing a little sharper over her shoulder, just a little flatter over her rump, and having a little more fullness to her midsection, and also a little more height and width to her rear udder.
The 6th place Miss Fortuity, entry number 971, Mrs. Elijah is Awesome, sired by Lucky Awesome, exhibited by Natalie Yaus of Oakland View Farms in Ridgely, Maryland. Entry number 981, Sandhaven Ellis Island, exhibited by Josh and Emily Sanders of Sandhaven in Littlestown, Pennsylvania, was 7th. Entry 976, Oakland View Warrior, exhibited by Natalie Yaus of Oakland View Farms in Ridgely, Maryland, was 8th. 9th,
This one's 7th. Sorry about that.
9th was entry 979, Derwin Jordy Myra, exhibited by Michaela Durr of New Windsor, Maryland, and she the 1st place junior. What did you say was wrong?
I did this wrong. Sorry.
I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I read the wrong one. Entry 983, Skip Hancock Lexington, exhibited by Josh Skipton, was 7th. Entry 983 was 7th, not 981. Sandhaven Ellis Island is still in the semifinalists. Once again, 971 was 6th, 983 was 7th, 976 was 8th, and 979 was 9th. Okay, pick up the railbird cards. And at this time, we're going to show you the 39 previous winners by video when the lights are turned down.
Right.
Well, we can't turn the lights out while we're still watching the cows.
I'm going to take over for just a second. That's all right.
Now we got a guy up here that wants to filibuster while we're watching the cows. We're very happy to introduce to you the president of the Maryland Holstein Association, Jeff Sutton. Jeff?
Well, good evening. Welcome everyone to this year's 40th anniversary of the Maryland Holstein Fortuity. It's a pleasure to have you all here tonight. Congratulations to all this evening's exhibitors. It's always a cool night, something I always look forward to, and I'm sure the exhibitors do as well. So thank you all again for being here this evening. I do have to say a few other words this evening. On behalf of the Maryland Holstein Association, we would like to present a token of our appreciation to two young men who have been involved with the Holstein Fortuity for its 40 years. Mr. Dave Browning, known as the man on the mic, and Mr. John Hall, the ring man. Please come forward. We would like to present you with a token of our appreciation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
John, could you come up here too? I know you're busy, sorry. Thank you very much to these two. I know they've been a staple for this futurity as long as I've been coming, so thank you to those guys. And again, thank you to this evening's exhibitors, and good luck to everyone tomorrow as well.
Thank you very much, Jeff. On behalf of John and myself, we certainly appreciate that. It's been a pleasure for both of us to be a small part, and I know that for many years John received the entries and so forth and so on, but it's a honor to have been part of the Maryland Holstein fraternity for most of the 40 years. Back in the 50s and 60s, when I was on the halter of some of these Holsteins, we didn't have any fraternities at that time. But we had a good time, and all the exhibitors, and many of them of which we certainly enjoyed being with year after year, and many of the farms, the second and third generations, are exhibitors here today and carrying on the tradition as provided by dairy farmers throughout the state of Maryland. Ladies and gentlemen, we have lowered the lights for just a few minutes. However, as happens so many times today with all the technology and knowledge and so forth, when the time comes, we have a technical breakdown. Our judge has made his final decisions, and before we present them to you, as has been mentioned many times, this is our 40th Fortuity. We have a short video to show for the past 39 Fortuities. And as I mentioned so many times as in the past, this thing worked fine when it was set up earlier. And of course, something last minute goes wrong. However, we trust and hope that you all have enjoyed the presentation by our 9 contestants. And we're certainly setting on pins and needles to see who will be Miss Fortuity 2023. And on behalf of the Holstein and Maryland Holstein Association and the Maryland State Fair, we appreciate your attendance, and most importantly, you exhibitors who have brought your lovely animals here and spent all the hard work and effort to get them to the condition of which they are. And certainly wish you all the best of luck in all the coming shows in the fall, and hope that you will certainly consider returning to the Maryland State Fair in 2024 to witness the 41st Fortuity and the other events, dairy shows here at the Maryland State Fair. Snuck up a little bit. An interesting fact about our exhibitors here at the Maryland State Fair. We have one family that has been continuously participating here for 97 years, and another exhibitor who has been himself exhibiting 50. I think we're ready for the video. We'd like to know who is collecting the Railbird tickets. If one of you would come up here to the desk, please. Whoever is collecting the Railbird tickets. Come up and see Miss Reese or Miss Hill. Okay, I think we're ready to see who will reign as Miss Fortuity 2023. Our fourth runner-up. Our fourth runner-up is entry number 981, Sandhaven Ellis Island, sired by Cycle Maguchi Bordy, exhibited by Emily and Josh Sanders of Littlestown, Pennsylvania. Our third runner-up, Peace and Plenty Sidekick Bledsoe, entry 978, sired by Walnut Lawn Sidekick, exhibited by Peace and Plenty Farm. Our second runner-up, entry 975, Peace and Plenty Ava Juby 24, exhibited by Peace and Plenty Farms of Union Bridge, Maryland. Peace and Plenty Ava Juby 24, our second runner-up. Now, when I tell you who is first runner-up, you're going to know who Miss Fortuity 2023 is. Our first runner-up, Miss Fortuity 2023, entry 972, Peace and Plenty SM and Juby 27, exhibited by the Sourcebecks of Peace and Plenty Farm in Union Bridge, Maryland. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you Miss Fortuity 2023 TTM Jordy Buick, sired by Cycle Maguchi Jordy out of Savage Lee TMDB Blessed, exhibited by Steve Arball and Arn Black of Union Bridge, Maryland. Miss Fortuity 2023 TTM Jordy Buick. Congratulations to all of the entries as well as the 5 animals especially of our semifinals, and certainly to TTM Jordy Buick, Miss Fortuity 2023, and congratulations to the Arball and Black families from Union Bridge, Maryland, Miss Fortuity 2023 TTM Jordy Buick. Upon the conclusion of several other presentations, our Holstein show will begin in this arena at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning with spring heifer calves. Miss Fortuity 2023 TTM Jordy Buick. The jackpot winner, there's always a jackpot winner. The jackpot winner is Mrs. Alicia is Awesome, owned and exhibited by Natalie Yaus of Oakland View Farms in Ridgely, Maryland. Our jackpot winner, entry 971, Mrs. Alicia is Awesome, exhibited by Natalie Yaus. We will have the announcements for the railbird judging as soon as they have been tabulated. With that, once again, please congratulate Miss Fortuity 2023 TTM Jordy Buick as she makes her final walk at our 40th annual Maryland Holstein Fortuity. Miss Fortuity 2023 TTM Jordy Buick. Once again, we'd like to thank all of our sponsors, all of our exhibitors certainly, and all of the herds people and all of those who have helped make this another successful Fortuity. Our judge, Mr. Joe Nash, the Holstein Association and Committee, and the Maryland State Fair, thanks you all for bringing your Fortuity here, and we hope that you will continue to do so. As soon as we get the results of the railbird judging, we will make the announcements. With that, until then, congratulations. Thank you all for coming. Have a safe trip. We hope you enjoy the rest of your visit here at the fair. Come back and visit us. We're here through Labor Day and again the weekend after that. Do what?
Can you come off the
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
I was just waiting for the railbird thing. I got it. Okay, I don't need nothing up here. I don't need any of it.
Are you announcing?
Yeah. real quick.